There's no doubt that several things make Marvel Studios stand out. They never cease to amaze fans, whether they're entertaining us with their out-of-this-world action scenes or delighting us with their classic Marvel comedies. Whenever you watch an MCU film, you're sure to find something you enjoy, regardless of what you enjoy most. So, in this video, let me share with you the top 10 funniest bloopers in Marvel movies. It is no secret that these films are brilliant. However, the behind-the-scenes blunders are a lot of fun and add a lot of laughs to these beloved flicks. The bloopers are often just as funny, if not more so than the final cut scenes. And actors often forget their lines or props fail to work. But some scenes are intentionally spoiled to add to the gag reel. So, how is the set experience for the Avengers? On the set, it seems as if they are having fun. But are they having fun? Here's our chance to see once and for all much fun the crew has on set as we dive into the sea of bloopers. Don't worry, your laughter is on us, as we've gathered 10 Marvel movies that have better bloopers than the movies themselves. Come on, let's get started. Number 10. The Guardians of the Galaxy Dance-Off. There's no denying that the Marvel cast is a dancey bunch. In most blooper reels, the cast dances no matter what Marvel movie it is. As Peter Quill, played by Chris Pratt, introduces various pop culture movies or songs to the team. In Guardians of the Galaxy, he often references pop culture. In this Marvel movie from 2014, Star-Lord starts dancing to distract Ronan, played by Lee Pace, from destroying planet Xander. And the bloopers that accompany the scene are even more amusing. Even more entertaining is seeing the rest of the team and planet take part in a dance-off to distract Ronan. Number 9. Don't be fooled by Mjolnir's power. It isn't powerful as it is. Does Mjolnir really possess the power to destroy the universe? Firstly, Hela destroyed it hella easily, and then we realized that it had happened on set. A scene in the movie shows Chris Hemsworth destroying the hammer completely. During the battle with the bad guys, the hammerhead snapped off while swinging it. What did he do? How about other than that? Russell Bobbitt doesn't need to be told how to make the weapons, but he should make them more robust. Then, the last thing we want is for them to look for a new weapons creator after the incident. Number 8 with James Spader on the set. As he said, I was tangled in strings. As soon as James Spader stepped onto the set of the second Avengers movie, he was hailed as a movie star. Since he played Ultron, everyone was interested in seeing how he would portray this supervillain. Known for never disappointing his crowd, James Spader wowed everyone with his performance. He put on the gray suit immediately after entering, and the performance capture cameras generated a rough image of what he would look like in his supervillain suit. Moreover, his body language, his movements, and even the subtle variations in the tone of his voice all contributed to his overall impression. And there was nothing wrong with anything. It was even said by Mark Ruffalo that he hit the like button quickly, just as you should as well. Although the unflattering gray suits were unflattering, no Mark expressed pride in working with the guy.
And I was tangled in strings.
Ridiculous. We're wearing these very unflattering suits, and I'm trying to explain to him, how it all works. But I was like, I'm working with James Spader. Look at you, Ruffalo. You really pulled one over on the world.
Number 7. Hawkeye choked Quicksilver to death. We assumed this was a deleted scene when we saw this blooper. Here is a scene in which Hawkeye and Quicksilver board the spacecraft following Ultron's attack. Even though Quicksilver is lying on the ground, Hawkeye walks right up to him and lays down on the bench. Then Quicksilver died just after Hawkeye choked him to death, after a doctor asked if he needed any assistance. The two were friends when the cameras were rolling, but they were mortal enemies when they weren't. Despite the joking, the entire cast and crew had a good laugh about it afterwards, despite the fact that he squeezed pretty hard. So it's possible that he still harbors a grudge against him. Number 6. The Hulk refused to smash. How about that iconic scene with the Incredible Hulk in which he says, "That's the trick, I'm always angry." Then he punches the giant flying alien to oblivion. There wasn't nearly as much courage behind the scenes, and it wasn't because Mark Ruffalo was wearing a gray suit, but because he fled like a scared little girl when he heard that monster's cries. Dude, you're on your own. He just looked at it and said something like, "This is yours to do." In the middle of the scene, Chris Evans burst out laughing because he wasn't expecting this at all. In response, Hawkeye and Black Widow joined forces.
Dude, you're on your own!
Number 5. Captain America isn't as smooth as he appears in the movies. A war veteran with superhuman strength and an indestructible shield is what Captain America is supposed to be in movies. What you don't know is that this is not the case when you see him working. There is no doubt that Scarlett Johansson will tell you the same thing. The movie Captain America shows Captain America cutting the door lock with a smack of the shield if you're in doubt. Despite Scarlett looking away after the 231 failed attempts, we were ashamed to watch the scene in real life. He was the guy who ripped a punching bag wide open with one punch, wasn't he? Doesn't he remember beating up a dozen guys in an elevator while he was being held down by them? Sadly, it seems that all that worked out was for naught. Whenever Chris managed to get it, he chanted and cheered like a little boy in a candy store. As for us, we were just relieved to finally be done with it. Number 4. This is one hell of a scene. There should not have been a shooting date between Cate Blanchett and Chris Hemsworth when shooting Thor Ragnarok. Unlike him, she is crazier and took a very long time for the movie to be filmed. Even though they are trained professionals, these two can't help but make everyone on the set laugh. At one point, Chris stabbed himself in the foot with an Odin spear when he kept tripping on the stairs. Eventually, Kate slapped him across the face because she had had enough with him. She didn't intend to do that, but it just happened by accident. Certainly, she did have this look of shock on her face. But she's an actress, so it's not so hard to guess.
Wise king never seeks out. It's one step every time that gets me.
Number 3. Wong completely botched the shot. Initially, Doctor Strange had a tough time with him. The man never smiled, never made jokes, and always tried to maintain order in the sanctum. Are these rules applicable to the scenes behind the camera? He's doing this behind the camera with his face, not his hands. In the meantime, everyone else is bracing themselves for the coming crisis. This terrifying look runs across his face, and Benedict Wong, yes, Wong, his real name, is making all kinds of faces.
Bob, if you use this in this film.
Number 2. There were a lot of strings involved in the battle with Thanos. You could not live with your failure. There is no doubt that this is one of the most powerful scenes in the entire Avengers franchise. And Avengers Infinity War featured it. Despite Thanos not possessing all the Infinity Stones, these heroes had to fight like never before to contain him when he had only a few stones. It wasn't even about beating him, and here's what happened behind the scenes. In addition to not flying, Star-Lord used strings to reach the battlefield, and not Doctor Strange's portals to jump off. He used a trampoline. Josh Brolin dressed as Thanos in a gray suit with a cardboard cutout above his head as a representation of the character. Tony Stark wore only part of the Iron Man suit, while Spider-Man, aka Tom Holland, was also wearing a gray suit. The only person who looked the same was Dave Bautista, who played Drax the Destroyer. That guy was pumped to the max. Number 1. Gaining weight and becoming Thor. For the sake of playing Fat Thor for a few minutes, did Chris Hemsworth gain all that weight? From the hair to his fat gut, everything was fake. Before shooting, he would have 3 people put on suit because it was the hottest he had ever been on the set. He was then drawn on the chest by a body artist based on Chris Hemsworth's chest hairs. Last but not least, wearing gloves hides the parts of his hands where you can see where the suit ends. The suit weighs 60 pounds and is difficult to put on. Additionally, he altered his voice a little by putting little cotton balls in his mouth to simulate the chubby cheeks.
The big sort of fat suit, which I think was sort of 60 or 70 pounds.
This little move. Yeah, that's the shimmy.
It was the hottest I've ever been.
How does that feel?
Oh, I mean, amazing.
Looks like it's in the right spot.
And we had obviously the beard, the hair, and I had these things that go in the mouth to kind of plump out my cheeks a bit, which sort of had a little effect on the voice as well, but probably in a good way. It was a different Thor.
If Iron Man and Thor were to fight, who do you think would win? In the meantime, are there any other bloopers you'd like to add to this list? I would appreciate if you would comment down below so I can get to know them. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel as well.